Full to everyone. It's Jeff. This video I'm gonna talk about a subject that I usually don't. I already had another video that explained why I think this subject really is none of my business. But I'm gonna talk about marriage equality, since I just saw another video on the subject, and I actually agree with what this man has to say, and I'll put a link to it in the description below. It's I like a lot of his content. The guy's name is the channel's called Essence of Thought. But I don't know how big the issue, like if it's a big hot button issue in the UK or not. But as an American, and I don't understand why it's considered people are too focused. I personally think people are too focused on this and not enough on the real problems that we have in America. But for the record, I am for marriage equality. Basically, there are only two kinds of marriage that I'm against. One is any marriage where someone who is not consenting is forced into it. Just pretty much any activity that on that scale of where it's not between consenting adults. So right there's one. And two, well, at least this might change in the future, but any marriage involving myself. But like I said, whether or not gay couples have the right to get married, which is why I usually don't speak on this issue, is because it has absolutely no effect on my life. It won't change the fact that I'm currently unemployed, looking for work, and no one seems to be hiring. I've heard the get a haircut thing 100 times. I've actually even tried it last time was 3 years ago, but cutting my hair didn't make a difference, whether or not, but that's a different issue altogether. But anyway, like I said, people are too worried about, I don't think, allowing marriage equality is going to make a difference in any of the other, problems we have here in America right now. Which, biggest problem, personally my biggest problem is unemployment. I can't find a job. God's not going to help with that. But that's also another issue. Now, I think personally we should adapt this old model that Celtic places have had since before, long before Christians existed, long before the Bible was written, before, from some BC times up until maybe the 18th or 19th centuries, from what I've heard, that both same-sex and opposite-sex marriage in England and Ireland was, and this was not Christian marriage, this was pagan marriages. They were allowed, as just consenting adults, and the it was a very like contractual view of marriage. Like a marriage would, I can't remember the exact number of years, but every so many years you could either let it go, and that would save you like the whole divorce process because the contract would just expire. So every few years, if you wanted to stay married, you had to renew your contract. So I personally think all marriages, I think it would be a good idea if all marriages in the United States adapted this model. Like, and this is without regard to whether it's same-sex or opposite-sex marriage. This is, this type of, having to renew your contract, putting an expiration date on the contract is, I think this is what we should do. But no, those are just my thoughts, and I am not gonna hear any arguments about same-sex marriage will ruin straight marriage. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. The only person who can ruin your marriage is you or your spouse. Anything else, anything else, just, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Peace.